Hey, we're recording. Oh, and we are live. Cool.
Yep.
I love that this thing is touchscreen so much.
Hello, Twitch.
Yeah, Twitch. Man.
There's just a bike wheel in the background with what looks to be a bike hat.
It does. Is that what a bike hat is?
It's a hat for your bicycle.
Just leave the AC going. It's hot, whatever.
Yeah. All right. Hello, listeners. This is BarelyADS, the show where we shoot from the hip. I'm your host, Detective Ben Malone, and with me today is Xanafan711.
Hey.
If you didn't know, we stream the show live at twitch.tv/BarelyADS sometime between Thursday and Monday at some time at night.
Indeed.
This band, the band of the week this week, is brought to you by a Buccaneer. A Buccaneer, it's how much the Pirates' new earrings cost him. That band of the week is Perspective, a lovely hand to hold. And you might be saying, Ben, that's already been band of the week, probably twice. Well, that's because they have a new album called Lousy coming out September 23rd, and you can pre-order it right now on Perspective, a lovely hand to hold.bandcamp.com for $9.99. I checked out, they have 3 songs available right now, and it's great. I played with Perspective back in the day. Fantastic dudes, fantastic music. What else can you ask for?
Nothing.
That's correct. Nothing else. If you want your band on the show or anything, send us an email to barelyadestinyshow@gmail.com. Get a hold of us on Twitter @barelyads, or go to our website, barelyads.com. From there, you can join our Discord and find a link to our YouTube channel. If you wouldn't mind, please head over to our YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button so we can get a URL, just because I want it. Also, feel free to head on over to patreon.com/barelyads to support us financially. As always, 2 big asks for the listeners. Please tell a friend about this podcast and join the Discord. There's fun stuff. Today, I posted a picture of my new bike. It's very sexy looking.
Yeah.
100 upvotes on Reddit.
There you go.
It was higher, but people who downvote pictures of a new bike are dicks. I think it's because it has a crossbar pad. If I'm being honest, people really fucking hate that.
Safety, though.
Yep.
It's a bike hat for your bike.
Anyway. Let's get right into the meat and sauce. What have we been playing this week? You go first.
I've been playing still a bunch of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I'm guesstimating I'm around 40 to 50 hours in, and I don't think I'm even halfway through. It's just, something to do over here. Something to do over there. Something to do over here. And it all ties into the story really well, all the side missions. So, I don't know, like I'm not getting that open world fatigue that I usually get when I play big, long open world RPGs. Still having fun with it, so we'll see what happens there. And then right before the show, I was playing some Tetris 99. And I was like walking slowly down to the office, playing Tetris 99, not able to shut doors because I was in the heat of battle. And I got down to the last 2 people, and as soon as it told me I was down to the last 2 people, my Switch crashed. So, don't know if I was going to win or not.
You were. Let's just say you were.
All right.
I played no video games.
You played all of Luke Cage Season 1 on Netflix.
That's true. I'll talk about that later, because I did watch a lot of video games. Most notably, I'm very interested in Ancestors: The Humankind Odyssey, which seems to be a game that you either want to play a lot or just have zero interest in. If you're not familiar with Ancestors, it is a game where the only objective is to evolve faster than the human race. So you start off as apes 10 million years ago, and there's all sorts of stuff about learning traits and passing it down to your ape children. And it looks...
Apinos? Ape children?
Ape children.
Okay.
It seems at times to be extremely slow going, but also at times to be very hilarious. Hoping it's not a game where it's more fun to watch than it is to play. But also, I really want to see him evolve eventually.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was reading chat. Fluffy came in and stole the sleeves off of my shirt. So that is why I don't have them. Also, it's 1,000,000 degrees in South Carolina.
True story.
I watched the entirety of season 1 of Luke Cage in 2 days. It's a great show. I really missed The Punisher when it went away, and Luke Cage gave me some of those vibes. At first, I was disappointed, spoiler, that Luke Cage has, like, impenetrable skin. But then, I actually liked it at the end. There's some really cool stuff that happens in that show. I'm excited for season 2. I'm probably going to watch it right after this. And then...
I would suggest Defenders first.
Isn't Daredevil in that show?
All of them are in it.
I hate Daredevil. I cannot stand Daredevil whatsoever. I watched a lot of season 1, and then I skipped pretty much everything in season 2 except for the things that had Frank Castle in it. Like, literally went to those episodes and just skipped to the parts that had Frank Castle.
Yeah. It's a shame.
There's a Frank Castle reference, though, in Luke Cage. So
There's
that's
references
cool.
all over the place.
Yeah, but only pretty much just one to Frank Castle.
Yeah.
The best Marvel show. Punisher. Bring it back. It's the best. If Scott were here, he would agree. Oh, speaking of which, the reason that Scott has not been here is because with Steve moving down to South Carolina, there's a lot of things in flux, and it's been just difficult to kind of line everything up. We're not really sure how things are going. Yeah. Like technical stuff.
Schedule-wise, everything.
I don't know. It's not... I don't know. There's some stuff in flux right now, and we're just trying to kind of get our bearings.
Yeah, and it's going to be in flux for about 2 months.
Yeah, so we're just trying to figure out stuff. I know next week I will not be on the show. I will be in Ohio, so I will be unavailable.
Yeah.
Life stuff. I already said that Fluffy stole my sleeves, so that happened.
I got a job.
You did get a job.
Yeah. Pays more than I was expecting. My boss seems really cool. They're going to put me up in a hotel for 2 months while I'm training, which is great because there was no room for me.
Yeah. Adding to the influx. We'll see how the podcast goes over hotel Wi-Fi.
Right.
Or he'll just come home. It's really not that far away.
Yeah, 45 minutes away.
Yeah. So, not bad. Like I said, I got a new bike. So I've been selling a lot of stuff on Craigslist. I've been buying some stuff on Craigslist. Most notably, a Kink Gap XL, which means it has a 21-inch top tube, which, for those of you who don't ride BMX, it just means if you're 6 feet tall, it's the right size. So, slightly bigger than my last... Well, I didn't get rid of the other bike. My bike that I did all the paint work on is going to be turned into a dirt jumper, which means I'm taking all the pegs and everything off of it. And the main reason I wanted to do this was because after putting 4 pegs on, all the hub guards and all this stuff onto my bike that I take to the park, it's really not fun to ride unless I'm at the skate park. So I kind of wanted one bike for the skate park, one bike to do some dirt jumps, and just actually go ride around like when my family goes on bike rides and things like that, so I don't have to roll around on a tank. Also, those Vans tires that I got are great, fantastic tires for the street and the park, and are the worst garbage trash if you're on dirt. It's very slick, and yeah, just wanted something that I could ride around on the dirt or in the street. So I'm excited though. I get to finally use the brake kit that I've had for like 2 months and couldn't put on because those Vans tires are freaking wide as hell. So yeah, I still got to order the tires for that. Probably won't do that for a while. There's a couple of other upgrades that I want to do to my park bike.
And you have no dirt jumps to jump yet. So.
Well, there's some dirt jumps around here.
No.
There's some tracks. So I'll be able to at least take it out there and have a daily riding bike. So that'll be fun. The skate park today went kind of just an off day. I didn't really wasn't super feeling like riding, but I went anyway just because I really only have 1 day a week to go. And sometimes I have those days where I just don't feel like jumping around too much, and it was causing me to just be lazy on tricks, not really getting the bunny hop as high as I wanted. Slipped out a couple of times doing some grinds, and I was just like, Not to mention, I show up, and all the ramps are completely soaked. So I was there for probably 2 hours before they dried off. And me and this kid who showed up on a skateboard found some brooms, some like push brooms laying around, and we were just pushing the water off of the ramps and off of the ground where it had kind of pooled up. So kind of a lame day at the skate park.
Yeah.
But the bike looks fucking sick.
It does. It looks really good. If you want to see it, get in the Discord.
Yeah. When I bought it, the seat had a rip in it, so I did some reupholstering of the seat. It's a very cool pattern. It's also the same pattern that's on my crossbar pad. Got the Vans grips again. Good old black and white thing.
Black, white, and like gray.
Yeah,
that's good.
The frame is really cool. So the top and bottom of all the tubes are black, and then in the center it's gray, and it does a nice fade into that. It's a very pretty bike. Get into Discord and check it out. It looks great. Took some fabulous portrait mode photos. That's about it for video games and life.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey and lots of TV for me because I've had pretty much nothing to do.
Yeah, watched a lot of Letterkenny.
I did. I'm almost done.
Also, there's a certain someone on a certain podcast that is not around anymore that was 100% just stealing lines from Letterkenny, and I hate when people do that. Drives me absolutely crazy. If you're out there saying pitter patter in real life, nobody knows what the hell you're talking about. Stop saying it.
Yeah, agreed. Why don't you just go out for a dart, bud?
Well, what's the line that I kept hearing? I can't remember.
Is it poopy pants?
No, it wasn't figure it out. Well, that's one of them, but figure it out, bud.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'll think of it as the show goes on. Let's get into the news.
All right.
So, not a big news week, but we do have the NPDs to read to you, and
I love NPDs.
If you're not familiar with what NPDs are, it's basically some game stats.
Game stats for a research group that they sell to companies to help market games.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tug on your balls thing. Give your balls a tug. That's what it was. So if you remember a podcast where somebody kept saying, give your balls a tug, shut up.
I think he has shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just let's burn some bridges while we're out here.
It's been burned.
That bridge has fallen into the icy cold waters.
You know what, Ben? Pitter patter.
Shut up. All right. We got these numbers from Brandon Sinclair at GameIndustries.biz. So in the U.S., game sales have dropped 18% in August, spending on games down 6% over the last year, and spending on hardware down 22% over the last year. Despite this, Nintendo sales are up for August and year to date. And I can kind of figure out why spending on hardware has gone down, because next gen's about to come out.
Yeah, everybody already has an Xbox or a PS4, and people still need Switches.
And you know why game sales have been dropping? Because nothing has been coming out.
No, it's we're getting there now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You hear that, Fantasy Game Critic League people? My games are coming out this year. They're just all in the fall.
Indeed.
A little disappointed that Borderlands 3 did not get me a lot of points.
No.
We all thought that was a great pick, and of course, it wasn't.
Yeah, I think we're learning from this year with Fantasy Game Critic that the big giant releases that everyone is really hype about are usually going to score in the mid 80s. So
There's just more people reviewing it, more people that are going to be like, I hate this game because everyone loves it, like me in Borderlands 3. So here are the top game sales. Number 1, Madden NFL 20. Number 2, Minecraft.
which surprisingly, Minecraft has been in this list a lot, but it's never been in the top of the list.
Yeah, it's pretty far down. Grand Theft Auto 5 at number 3, and that's kind of your control group for this.
Yeah.
Is where Grand Theft Auto's at. So that being said, we got Fire Emblem 3 Houses at number 4. Number 5, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Number 6, Mario Maker 2. Number 7, Mario Kart 8. Number 8, Mortal Kombat 11. Number 9, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. Having a lot of numbers in this list is very confusing. Number 10, Astral Chain.
And let me shout out real quick that, 6 of these top 10 are Switch games, or can be bought on Switch.
Well, you could also buy Overwatch on Switch, but
Not yet. Soon.
you will be able to.
Yeah.
Number 11, Marvel Spider-Man. Number 12, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. 13, Red Dead Redemption 2. 14, Call of Duty Black Ops 4.
3. Yeah, 4.
Black Ops, the Roman numeral 4 is IV, not I.
I don't know if that was Black Ops or if it was Brendan Sinclair.
No, I'm fairly certain it was Black Ops. I remember seeing some marketing and hearing on podcasts people make fun of that.
All right.
15, Age of Wonders Planetfall. Never even heard of that.
Nope.
16, Super Mario Party. 17, Marvel's Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order. 18, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. 19, The Dark Pictures, Man of Medan. Good on you. Cracking the top 20.
Even though, well, I think that's only because people were hype on it. You're not going to see it in this list next month.
I don't know. I still want to play Man of Medan. There's some really cool modes in Man of Medan. Like, you can play online with your friends, and your friends control certain characters, and you control other ones, and they will see stuff that you do not.
Yeah, that is a very cool mechanic.
Yeah, or you can play on the couch and just pass the controller, and the game will notify you when it's time to pass the controller to another player, which is cool. You just enter how many players you want and who's playing who. And number 20, Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Yeah, it's over a year old. Still in there. It's a great game.
Yeah. Ubisoft did a good job recently.
Yeah, across the board. Killing it.
Here's another story from Ian Walker at Kotaku. Video games get one step closer to being in the Olympics. Intel is hosting an esports tournament with a $500,000 prize pool, taking place in Tokyo, where the 2020 Olympics are held, and in the time leading up to the Olympics. 2 games, $250,000 prize pool for each: Street Fighter V and Rocket League.
Yep.
These 2 titles were chosen because of the ease of the casual spectator can understand what's happening in the matches. This sentence sucks.
Yep, that was on me.
Many see the inclusion of esports in the Olympics to be the next step to legitimizing video games as a competitive sport. You know what else is in the Olympics? BMX.
Yeah, skateboard too, or just BMX?
I think skateboarding's in it. I actually have not checked. The only reason I know this is from going to like Vital BMX and stuff like that. And the coach of the women's team is Ryan Nyquist.
Oh, it's a name I haven't heard in a million years.
Yeah, he's still out there. If you know who Ryan Nyquist is, good on you for playing a Dave Mirra game back in the day.
Yeah. In regard to this Olympic esports thing, first of all, that is a tiny ass prize pool compared to some of what's been going on lately. Fortnite's was $3 million, and what was the other big one? It was more than Fortnite, and it just happened recently.
It was Dota or some crap like that?
Dota, yeah, it was Dota. But I totally agree. Street Fighter V and Rocket League would definitely be two games that people who have no idea that esports is even a thing, you can jump in, watch it, and you know what's going on.
I just can't wait until Rocket League is in the Olympics and people are actually in the cars.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing.
That's what my children will be watching when they're like
Real
40.
life Rocket League?
Yeah, they'll be like, oh, it's Rocket League, where everyone's driving flying Teslas.
Yeah. I will say I have been watching a bunch of Overwatch League as well.
Owl.
Yeah, Owl. And because of the changes that they made to role queue, where you're required to have 2 tanks, 2 healers, and 2 damage on every team, it is so much more interesting. And yeah, I'm stoked. I think the finals are going to be tomorrow. They're coming up real soon. Yesterday was the losers bracket semifinals.
So I watched some Overwatch League with you, and I had made comment that in the past that Overwatch League was extremely difficult to follow when it came out. Like, watching the matches, I couldn't understand what was going on, who was on what team, and all that jazz. From watching it now, it is much easier to follow what's happening, but I still have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big barrier that esports is going to have to overcome, is having people understand what's happening if they don't play the game. Like I've played Overwatch a few times, and I know how the game works, but I still have a very hard time following what's going on during the match. So Rocket League, good choice. Super fun to watch.
Street Fighter has been around forever. So most people have seen it. And
What's a Street Fighter?
It's easy to understand what's happening with people punching each other.
I'm just picturing my grandmother watching Street Fighter in the Olympics and just being so confused.
Yeah.
Why is there a fat sumo wrestler guy here? Last story, GameStop is closing hundreds of stores as it attempts to stay afloat, and that's just the first wave of closures. This story from Ben Gilbert at Business Insider. They're closing 180 to 200 underperforming stores, but this is just the beginning of sweeping changes coming to the company, as they expect to close many more stores in the next year or two. This is the first step in GameStop's reboot, in which they are trying to lower their operation costs in an attempt to stay relevant as media heads towards an all-digital age. It's kind of a bummer, because I do like going to GameStop to get my Switch games, because the Switch has such a tiny internal storage. I like to have physical copies for that.
Yep.
And I like having physical copies on my other consoles too.
Because then you get to see it on your shelf. You got to
It's easier to see what I have.
Yeah.
I forget that I have PC games. I know a lot of us PC gamers, our Steam libraries are ridiculous. People just forget they have games. There's been more than a few times that I've been like, oh, do you guys have this game? And they're like, no. Actually, yes. So, also, I know Epic Games is kind of garbage, but if you are a PC gamer, download that Epic Games Store, because they give away a free game every week. And some of them have been really good, like Mutineer Zero.
Limbo.
Oh, Limbo's super old, though. Mutineer Zero's pretty... don't get me wrong, Limbo's a fantastic game.
Yeah, still a really good game. Yeah.
I think it's on Switch.
That would make sense.
It's a great game. Play it. And, alright. So I'm going to read a review sent to us from Admiral Nipples of Potato Thumbs fame.
Yes. We had 2 big games come out this week.
One of which is Gears 5.
It's not called Gears of War?
No, it's
Gears
just
5?
Gears 5.
Oh, man.
So, here, from the mind of Admiral Nips, through the voice of myself, quick Gears 5 review. I keep wanting to say Gears of War 5, and it's driving me crazy. Quick Gears 5 review, since I haven't been able to play a ton yet. Visually stunning. Easily the prettiest game I played on the 1X so far. Campaign is fun so far, though I'm not far into it and have only played solely. I'm gonna guess that's solo. Usually it's even more fun playing with friends, so I'm excited for that. PvP is PvP for Gears. If you can't wall bounce and use a Nasher, it's gonna be tough. I have not worked on leveling anything up yet, but that is a thing now, so it should add some depth to PvP to work on. New Horde mode is interesting. Deeper customization and individual use of energy means more options while playing. This should make it interesting, but it's made for a steeper learning curve for a Horde veteran like me. New escape mode is super fun. It's probably best with a 3-person party as you go up in difficulty because the ammo scarcity and difficulty increases means you can get stuck with a bad crew. Overall, I'm pleased with the new game and I expect it will keep me occupied for a while. A nice improvement over 4, but similar enough that you're immediately aware you're playing Gears. Anyone who likes Gears should get it. Anyone who doesn't shouldn't expect to love this one. I'm not far enough in to say one way or another if you're on the fence. But I'll rectify those lack of hours quickly because I'm headed back to Sarah now.
I'm guessing that's where it takes place.
Yeah, I don't know. I will say that if you're familiar with the Gears of War franchise, it has always been a game where you can play 2-player co-op through the story, and this game adds a 3rd player to the mix. There's a floating robot in the game, and it has very, very dumbed down controls, so throw your girlfriend on as the robot and let her rip.
Right on.
We have another review of Borderlands 3. I'm going to give this one over to Stanisan.
Yeah, this one is from @grumpy_dumps on Twitter and in our community. And it's a long one. So this is actually, it's not too far in. It's first impressions. You're going to get the official BarelyADS Borderlands 3 review from Scott.
And it'll be at least 3 times as long.
Yeah, probably. All right. So he's got some big disclaimers before we begin. 1, he's never played a Borderlands title before. And B, he's still pretty early in the game. And lastly, he's the epitome of casual, so don't at him. But I'm going to tell you right now, you probably should just at him anyway. Why not? Okay, so here we go. So I decided to get Borderlands 3 on a whim because I had seen some streamers and YouTubers really get into it, as well as some friends in Discord speaking pretty positively about it. There's lots of explosions, loot, character progression, and tons of other dope shit that looked like a good time. I knew there was some controversy around the game and the Epic storefront, but I don't really give a shit about any of that, to be honest. The first time I started up the game, I was really pumped to get into it and start shooting shit in the face. However, the opening cutscene is long as fuck. Being somewhat limited in my capacity to pay attention through the whole thing, I walked away to grab a beer. Suffice to say, I don't really know what's going on in the story, but from what I've gathered up to this point, that isn't really all too important. For a starting character, I went with Flak, who is a Beastmaster. To my knowledge, this is the first inclusion in the series of a Beastmaster. Don't quote me though, which is pretty goddamn neat. I'd been told to play a Siren first since they're, quote, the most significant in terms of lore, end quote. But as previously stated, I'm not paying a ton of attention to the story. Daddy's just here to shoot shit and get that sweet, sweet loot. Fingers crossed on Mylan or Bife making some lore videos for me to binge later. I was going to go into Flak's perks and playstyles, etc., but I decided not to because there's plenty of other outlets out there who do a great job at this. I will say though that Flak is pretty damn fun to play. He's got a pet that helps kill ads and can revive you. The one I picked looks like a cross between a lizard and a gremlin. I call him Joey Fuckstick. Joey carries around a sidearm that you can upgrade over time into a rocket launcher and aggressively shoots enemies in the face. Sometimes a little too aggressively, to be honest. There's been a handful of instances where I've been minding my own business and old Joey Fuckstick has ventured off on his own into bumfuck Egypt and is yeeting everything in sight. God bless you, little buddy. This sometimes happens when I'm not really interested in fighting a mob of skags and wish I could scale back his level of aggression a little. Maybe that is a feature, and my lack of attention has led me to miss this detail, however. The game's atmosphere is really interesting, and the art style is a refreshing departure from the world of Destiny, where I've been spending the large majority of my gaming hours over the past several years. I know Borderlands' art style is nothing new at this point and even predates Destiny, but it's new to me and I dig it. That's not to say that it's perfect though. I've had issues when the game's environment goes from day to night with identifying enemies at a medium to long distance. Sometimes it's damn near impossible to see the giant-headed baby mutant that's shooting at me from 300 yards away. I basically have to just run from cover to cover, unable to return fire until I can close the gap and actually differentiate that ugly fucker from the heap of cars piled up around him. That being said, though, these instances aren't unbearably frequent, and they're more of a minor inconvenience than anything I'd consider game-breaking. The questing system is pretty decent. It's nothing revolutionary. There's typical fetch quests and kill X number of things, collect X number of items, and dirt types of quests. However, those seem to be mostly relegated to the side quests and not the primary storyline, which I appreciate. The characters are all enjoyable to interact with, and the voice acting is pretty well done. The dialogue/writing itself can be a little cheesy at times, but it's not a game ruiner for me. The music in the game is really great. I have a tendency to put on my own playlist in the background and mute the in-game music, and the fact that I haven't done that yet speaks volumes for me. I also really appreciate the inclusion of little boomboxes spread around the world that play propaganda as you're navigating through the maps. Just another minor addition that really sells the immersion. Next, I'll just briefly touch on a couple things that I haven't had a ton of time to experience as of yet, but I really like the way they're being implemented. The game has co-op, couch co-op even, and that's a big fucking plus in my book. You know how long I've been trying to find a game to play with my wife that isn't Katamari Damacy? Don't get me wrong, that game is tight, but shooting shit is way more interesting to me than rolling cows and bushes into a fucking ball. Online co-op is also a thing. That's pretty tight too, but is to be expected in most modern games. The skill trees and character progress seems really cool. Admittedly, I haven't made a ton of progress in this realm as of yet. I've been told though that characters get really overpowered in this game and end up giving everything in sight a good old-fashioned yeet down, and I'm really psyched to get into this part of the game. Finally, gunplay. Probably the most important aspect of the game, but it's getting the shortest section. It's fucking great. You like Destiny? Cool. Titanfall? Dope. COD? What? Fuck off. Grow up. Anyway, if you're into guns and gun-flavored things, this game is going to scratch that itch real good. To go along with the gunplay, gun design is stellar. Returning players of the game will already know that guns have a ton of personality, and I'm speaking to the choir here. Great. Shut the fuck up. This message is for the wait-and-see crowd in the back. Like me. Gun design in this game is really something refreshing. Guns have interesting mechanics both in the way they shoot and the effects they produce in a myriad of ways. One quick example, I was playing yesterday afternoon and I killed a side quest boss. He popped some loot out of his face. Great, I picked up an auto rifle type gun. I didn't read the weapon description because I'm not a fucking nerd. It did more damage than what I had equipped, so I popped that bad boy in my primary slot and away I went to slay more skags. I killed one or two of these ugly things, and I got to reload. Instead of putting more bullets into my perfectly good weapon, my character instead throws the fucking gun at some unsuspected wasteland hound. It tracks this poor bastard down and explodes in his face. A new gun with a full magazine materializes in my hands, and back to Pew Pew Town I go. First of all, what the fuck? Second, that was tight, let's do it again. There are tons of instances in the game where the design of weapons just surprises you and change the fundamental way you approach engagements. It can't be understated how enjoyable that is in a game. Thanks, Gearbox, you're great. I'm getting long-winded here, and I'll just wrap up this first impression blurb by saying this. If you're already into Borderlands, why are you still listening to me? I know you already bought the game, go play it. If you're new to the franchise and want something different, I think this game is worth a shot. Yeah, I know Destiny is coming out with an expansion soon, and there's other games out there that may do some things better than Borderlands does in terms of graphics and character design and whatnot. But what this game does better than anything else I've played recently is shower you with a wide variety of truly interesting loot. Every gun plays differently than the last in some way or another. New weapons to your arsenal can and do fundamentally change the way you play the game on a moment-to-moment basis. It's really fun gameplay loop, and it's something that I'm personally really excited to continue getting into. If you've got the cash to spare, pick it up. You won't regret it. If not, maybe wait for a sale in a month or two. It'll still be worth your time and hard-earned money. Thanks for giving me the time of day to listen to my thoughts on this game. You're all beautiful. Have a great day and go shoot some shit. So, thank you to both Admiral Nips and Grumpy Dumps for giving us reviews. And if you play a game and you want to send in a review of the game,
do it.
We'll read it.
All right. Let's move on to listener questions. These questions are brought to you by Cosmodrome Vodka. Oh, actually, this week's listener questions are brought to you by a merchandise announcement from Cosmodrome Vodka. So you thought we'd never do it, but we did it. Utilizing our friends at Gamerscore Radio, of which one of the hosts is totally not affiliated with us at all, we have designed a logo to be placed on shirts, sweatshirts, and even sleeveless shirts. If you head on over to represent.com/store/GSR !!!!!!!shirts, and you can pursue the many colors and styles of the Cosmodrome Vodka clothes. We're still working on a design for undergarments, but we've been unable to find a suitable way to combine edible underwear with our signature vodka. Apparently, people don't like putting things on already wet underpants, which is shocking to us. Our vodka would help open up your pores and keep the area clean. Until we can complete the design process, please head over to our shared store with GSR if you're interested in our clothing line. And until next time, please remember, check your sparrows for brakes before hurtling down steep hills at high speeds. Not every planet has grass to plaster your face with. I did go over to Cosmodrome Vodka's shirt, and I recommend, if you're going to get the t-shirt, getting the light orange t-shirt because it looks great.
Yeah.
They cost $17 for a t-shirt, $19 for a long sleeve, $15 for a sleeveless. You save $2 because it's $1 a sleeve.
Yeah.
$25 for a crew neck, $25 for a midweight pullover hoodie, and $27 for a heavy hoodie.
What if I want a V-neck?
If you want a V-neck, they are $17. And they come in white, gray, royal navy blue, not royal, and black.
All right.
Again, I suggest the light orange for the t-shirt. If only light orange came in the Gildan midweight pullover hoodie sizes S through 5XL. Maybe I'll get a 5X. Just wear it like a weird nightgown.
Do it. You won't.
I won't, because if I buy one of these, when I buy one of these, I feel like I have to.
I know, right?
This is kind of our first merch.
It is.
Loosely the first Barely a Destiny show merchandise. So pick up a Cosmodrome Vodka shirt.
There is merch for us in the works, but who knows when that's actually going to happen.
I do. Because I'm clairvoyant.
Oh, okay.
All right, listener questions. JKA Geardad asks, wonders, ponders, postulates, other than the weather, what's the biggest difference between Ohio and South Kakalaki?
Well, so far for me, it's been everyone saying how crappy Spartanburg is and like sketchy of a town. And then you're like, but I'm from Akron. And
which is a great place.
So, not sketchy at all in comparison.
No, it's really not.
Yeah.
It's surprising that people think it's trashy. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Look at how nice that B-dubs is.
Yeah. Akron... Does Akron have a B-dubs?
It does, but it's not as nice as this one.
No. All right.
The biggest difference between Ohio and South Carolina is the fact that Ohio's filled with cynical people. It must be the weather there. And in South Carolina, as you drive through the neighborhood or anywhere, people just wave at you.
Yep. For sure.
It's pretty sweet.
Oh, another big difference is Ohio has a lot of professional sports teams. South Kakalaki has 0.
I beg to differ. The Carolina Panthers is half our team.
We share
with North Carolina, yes.
A team with North Carolina, but that team happens to reside in Raleigh. And that's pretty far away.
I had a confusing moment at the gas station where I gave him my ID, and he goes, "I should kick you out of my store for being from Ohio." And my first thought was, I should kick your teeth in for saying that to me. Which, again, goes to show that Ohio's full of cynical people.
It's that Akron mindset right
Yeah.
there.
What'd you just say? You gonna talk trash on Ohio?
Yeah.
Get out of here. I know it's a pile of crap. Ohio is the Browns. We know that it's a terrible place, but if you tell that to me, I will fight you.
Yep. Oh, also, we share a hockey team with the Carolina Hurricanes.
Nobody cares about that team.
Also in North Carolina.
College football.
Yep.
Yeah, to continue that story, then he asked, "Do I like football?" And I said, "No." And that was pretty much the end of that. Jay also wants to know, which do you prefer and why? JRPGs or Western RPGs, and what are some of your favorites of each? Now, I know they talked quite a bit about RPGs on the most recent episode 6 of Gamerscore Radio. What do you prefer?
I'm kind of split, man. They're so different. I'm currently in the middle of both a Western and a JRPG. So like, I think story-wise, JRPGs take the cake. And although a lot of people don't like turn-based combat, which is pretty common, it's almost expected in a JRPG, you can do a lot more with strategy when it's turn-based. And so that kind of plays into it as well. But some of my favorite RPGs of all time are Western RPGs as well. Mass Effect, for example.
Yes.
So we're just going to say Mass Effect is favorite for Western RPGs. For JRPGs, Pokemon. Come on. It's Pokemon.
So which do I prefer? Definitely Western RPGs because, as you stated, I hate turn-based combat, which is very indicative of the JRPG. Also, JRPGs are like 1,000,000 hours long for the most part, and I can't do that. I was thinking about one of those memes today, and I wanted to make one that was like basically me playing an RPG and me finishing an RPG.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, yes, I'm super interested in playing this, and I will never finish it.
Yeah.
Western RPGs are definitely the best because they're generally action-oriented. Mass Effect, of course, fantastic Western RPG.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey, fantastic Western RPG, but is very long too.
Give a shout out to Admiral Nips and say that even though I haven't played it, obviously The Witcher 3 is one of the best RPGs.
Yep. And I'd be remiss to say Admiral Nips, after giving me the review on Gears 5, said he's actually instead going to play Greedfall, which is a Western RPG, and he's having a lot of fun with it, and came out to absolutely no fanfare, had never heard of that game until he said so today, and it's scored decently well. It's in the 7s.
And I would not be able to call myself a fan of Western RPGs if I did not put the obvious Fallout and Skyrim, or Elder Scrolls and Fallout series. They're just fantastic.
Yeah.
Dosey wants to know, if you had feathers, what color would they be? Peacock.
Mine would be purple and probably green. Purple and green, but mostly purple.
All right.
Yeah.
That's a weird question.
Indeed.
Drafty wants to know, you forgot to take the chicken out of the freezer and you don't have time for it to thaw. How you going to cook that chicken?
I got this one. Tomorrow.
My answer is use your microwave to defrost it. Do that. I actually forget to take it out to thaw quite a lot.
Huh. All right.
And then the last question of the night comes from Lazrich Lalich. If you could be one Disney character at any of the Disney parks for a day, which one would you be? Can you say like Darth Vader now?
Yeah.
Probably Donald Duck.
You Donald Duck?
I don't know.
See, here's the thing. I thought about this, and I would need to be a character that doesn't have to wear a full body costume because fuck that heat. Not about it. And that includes Darth Vader. Wearing black plastic that completely covers your body all day? No, thank you.
Harry Potter.
I mean, not Disney, but, you know. So, I don't know. What would I... Probably go...
Change my mind. I'm going as a stormtrooper. I've always wanted a stormtrooper armor set.
It'd be pretty cool. Pretty cool armor set to have. Yeah.
The silence is killing me. Just pick one.
Yeah, I know.
Ariel.
Bingo. The least, I'd be Ariel. Least amount of clothing. Right there.
There you go.
Yep, we're going with that.
All right, that does it for our show. Remember, check out at G Drewski with 2 eyes. He's on that affiliate grind, and he's my friend. He plays a lot of Super Smash Bros. Melee, the good one. You can find me everywhere at Detective Ben Malone. You can find this podcast at BarelyADS.com, BarelyADS at gmail.com, Twitter.com/BarelyADS, Twitch.tv/BarelyADS, and Patreon.com/BarelyADS. Also, the band of the week is Perspective, A Lovely Hand to Hold. Remember, they have a new album coming out on September 23rd called Lousy. Pre-order it for $9.99 at Perspective, A Lovely Hand to Hold.bandcamp.com. They are great people who make great music.
Yeah. And if you want to find me, you can find me anywhere you can at Xanafan711. Go figure.
Yeah. Remember, may your Jeeps be dirty, your bunny hops be clean, and your disc throws long. We have hobbies.
Yeah. Peace out, y'all. Cool.